All right, here we are. Good morning, Mark. We're
Morning.
starting a series of interviews with our staff. We thought this might be a great way during all this Zooming time for our congregation to get to know our staff better. And while the choir knows Mark Frye very well and everybody else sees him at the organ on Sunday mornings, not everybody's had a chance to get to know Mark, and that'll be true of all of our staff. So we're trying to do some 5-minute interviews to give people a chance to get to know our staff a little better. We'll post these over time. And so this morning, we're glad to have Mark Frye on board for our first interview. And Mark, our first question is we want to ask all of our staff to give us the 2-minute version of your life. So, kind of home and where you were raised and education and family and just kind of the thumbnail sketch. So ready, go.
Okay. So I'm originally from Columbia, South Carolina. I have my parents and my only brother are still there. He is married and has 2 daughters. The oldest one is College of Charleston in Charleston. I went to USC, did my undergraduate in music education, and left there and lived in Florence, South Carolina for a hot minute, and moved over to Dallas, Texas, and served in an Episcopal church in Fort Worth. And was a fish out of water. So I moved back to the East Coast, and then that's when I came to Charlotte.
Texas
20
was a
years
little
ago,
different.
it was
Texas was a little different than South Carolina.
Too different, too fast. And then that's when I came to Charlotte in 99. And I served at Advent Lutheran Church, which is up in the University area, for a year, and then went to St. James Lutheran in Concord, where I was for right at 20 years before I came to Park Road. And during that time, I did a master's degree at School of the Arts in Winston-Salem, master's at Winthrop in Rock Hill in choral conducting, and then circled back to the University of South Carolina to start my doctorate in choral conducting there. So that's kind of the big circle. So I started and ended up back at USC in Columbia.
And you started in a Baptist church?
I was raised in a Southern Baptist church in Lexington, yeah, and had my first paid church job before I got out of high school. So I left there early and went and was organist in a couple of churches before college and during college. So, yeah.
So, Mark, everybody doesn't know that you have a trained background in both choral conducting and organ.
Right. So my undergraduate degree was in music education, where my major instrument was organ and voice, and then also as an education major studied choral conducting. And then I have an advanced degree in choral conducting and in organ performance. My degree from School of the Arts is in organ performance, and from Winthrop is in choral conducting. I knew that I loved working in a church in a position where I was director of music and organist. And so that's why I decided to do all these degrees and really hone in on the areas that I know that I love and where I hope to serve. So.
And what's your other job?
And my other job is I have had an interior design business kind of on the side forever. And about 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago, I had the opportunity to become manager of acquisitions interiors here in Charlotte. So I took over this Charlotte location and do interior design in-house consults, whole house interior design, rooms, or just whatever our clients need. And there's also a retail front here in South End, which is just a block behind where I live, which is convenient. So that's what I do.
You give paint color advice via text late at night to close friends.
Exactly.
I hope we don't.
Speaking for a friend.
I hope we don't get the bill anytime soon. Mark, I wanted to say to the congregation, I started singing in the choir when you came our choir had diminished a little bit. And so I started singing to try to help the tenor section, and have just really, really enjoyed it. If you don't sing in the choir, you don't know about some of the kind of technical issues of leading a choir, and the choral conducting experience is just really makes a lot of difference. And so the techniques for practicing rehearsal it's a wonderful experience being in a choir with someone who leads with choral techniques like you do. And I appreciate that so much.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Love it. Love it. I just hate that we had made so much progress and then got thrown into quarantine, because I mean, I have thoroughly enjoyed my time at Park Road for lots of reasons, but making music with this group of people has just been a huge thrill to me, and doing worship with you two has just been wonderful. So
it's been a great new thing, and I hate that that's on hold that part is on hold for a little bit. But
next question,
and we're at 6 minutes.
Okay, 6 minutes. We'll keep. Maybe we're not going to get these in 5-minute interviews. We'll see. How does working at Park Road align with your convictions of faith and values?
I told this to the committee when I interviewed with y'all, and I've mentioned it in a couple other groups, but having been in Charlotte for 20 years, I've known about the reputation of Park Road, and I've known about your presence in the community, things you do, things you stand for. So Park Road has always just kind of been on my radar, just because I've always respected what you do. And when I saw the position was open, my brain started thinking and emailing, and so here we are.
And most people probably don't know, we interviewed for the position while we were out of the sanctuary, and so we had to do the interview at St. Luke's Lutheran down the street. So you took the job never having sat at the organ at Park Road.
Yeah, but when he sat at the organ at St. Luke's, Amy and I looked at each other and we knew this is it. Yeah. Well, it has been a good fit, Mark, and not just your musical ability, but I think our convictions about issues of faith, and that's been really nice to have you as part of our staff, and so many of us sharing those same convictions.
I've said too to other people that it has been a wonderful breath of fresh air. The church I served for almost 20 years that I came from, was an open. It was a nice congregation. They would never turn away anybody, but just being in a place that is so overtly open and accepting and welcoming has just been a huge breath of fresh air. So it's wonderful.
Final question. You and Eric love to travel, so tell us about your favorite vacations.
Well, we both love the beach and love to get to the beach anytime, even if it's just an overnight jaunt over or a long weekend. We love the Caribbean, so we cruise a lot. We love the cruise experience and love the experience of the ships. Don't always get off at all the ports they stop in, but we do love that experience. And just love traveling in general. So that's always a highlight of our year, planning when that's going to be and where that's going to be. And we
do you have a next trip planned?
Mark, don't go on a cruise.
They're all canceled. So no,
probably get some bargains.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have a next trip planned?
Well, we're supposed to go to Palm Springs, California in around the 4th of July. But we're not sure if that's going to work out, because the Airbnb house owner is not sure that he's able to rent it. So just waiting.
Well, another little aside for people to know how handy Eric is, always at the church when you're there practicing, and people have no idea all the little things he does behind the scenes that make life at church so much easier. So we're grateful to have both of you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for spending a few minutes and letting us introduce you better to the congregation.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.